don't know if I want you to give me my side shot.
Sure, can I make a suggestion?
You want to see me
Sir?
side?
Yeah. Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
Move your sunglasses. People like to see your eyes when it comes.
Squint?
Well,
Huh?
normally it's the building around.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's true.
Hello. Hello.
You good, are you?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me when y'all are ready.
I'm going to fade up a little bit. Did you say your name for us so we can
I
get
shall.
the sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I get into any details, what we're going to do, because we think there's going to be additional media of interest once y'all put it all out, we're going to try to, I'm going to give you a brief statement now, and then we get your information to get electronically. We're going to give you some more details of the breakdown as activities so you can follow up with those details. Then hopefully, usually it used to be, I don't know, y'all tell me, around 3, 4, no later, you want to visit back again because you're at 5 and 6. You want to have something. So
nowadays it's 4, 5, and 6.
well, so we'll probably shoot for 4 o'clock to follow up with y'all again, and if necessary, and we got to do it tomorrow, we'll do a agreed continuum for that. I always like to get all the information that y'all need to have. Okay. All right. My name is T. Michael Michael O'Connor. O''Connor. I'm Sheriff of Victoria County in Victoria, Texas. Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. It's very unfortunate circumstances that I have to report to you today. I was in hopes that our search would have become fruitful and we found the young child alive. Unfortunately, we did not. About 8 o'clock last night, we received a call from a family member that their 4-year-old child had wandered away from the residence. Deputies responded immediately, saw the circumstances which we needed to have additional officers. We set up incident command. Before it was all over with, we had multi-agencies and probably 100 volunteers. Probably within an hour, we did a reverse 911 call to advise people. We feel like we got to get on these situations promptly, but we're in very many different directions, and that's the best way we see here in Victoria to deal with these issues. We just didn't know the totality of the circumstances, and as it evolved. Probably throughout the night, we had multiple search and rescue teams from different parts of the state to come in and respond. And I will again give you more details as to who that was and when they came and how they assisted us. I thought was an excellent job by multi-agencies, and especially the volunteers, because when someone sees circumstances like this, they're very anxious to take it upon themselves to be the one to try to locate the child, and we were able to coordinate that and go out in teams, and we did a very thorough crossover. Unfortunately, last night, weather conditions diminished and deteriorated to the point to where we had to cease the volunteer group ground search because of visibility and safety. So we called them all back in. We had already had records of who they were and had them to report back the first light. Our deputies continued and other agencies continued to canvass the area and continue to look for the young man, inclusive of going to residence, house to house, and looking in their yards, as well as talking to the various individuals. About 10:30, is that right, Chief? About 10:30 this morning, we had shift changes of officers in command, so some of us went to get at least a few minutes of rest, and about 10:30 we were notified by a resident that he had discovered Kyler deceased in the backyard of his residence. like anything else, the sheriff's office, we take these scenes and we card off the scenes not knowing as to what has transpired. And at this time, we have finished the scene, but we're continuing to investigate the cause of death. And basically, that's the extent that I can go with you. You know, we notified the family. We have been talking to the family, and we have a chaplain. They have a pastor from their church here talking to them. I just visited with the family and told them that there may be media interest to talk to them, and that they are recommended that they'll have a representative to talk to y'all as they see fit.
People appear to have been mauled by these pit bulls.
Right now, the investigation continues on. You know, I know as far as media is concerned, you like to push that information out, or any kind of information out as far as the details, but understand that the last thing I want to do is be premature and non-factual with the information that we have. So I know you've heard this many, and the rest of you've heard this many times over, and we will stand to that we're going to hold any further information until we know for a fact as to the total circumstances as to his death. But we are continuing to...
Till after an autopsy?
Well, we'll continue. You know, I'm not going to answer that. I can't answer it, I should say, because if we feel that it is circumstances where we can give you some facts related, I'm gonna push it out because I think it's necessary for you to know it. But right now, understand it was 10:30 there, 11 o'clock as to the findings. So they're just finishing the crime scene, and like anything else, I haven't even been briefed as to the situation. I've heard bits and pieces as well, and you know, we want to make sure because
the boy is deceased.
Yes, the young man is deceased, yes, sir, and he will be sent for autopsy.
Do you know approximately? I'm not sure if you would know this at this time, but was he dead before you guys arrived, and for possibly how long?
The young man was deceased. The toddler was deceased upon arrival for law enforcement and medical services.
Was he found at a residence on Village Lane?
He was found at a residence in this general area. Really not that far, but you know, a distance across a pasture where he wound up.
Of course, you said you were still investigating. Any reason to believe this is anything other than just an accident?
You know, I look at again, I don't want to overuse the word totality of things, but facts are facts, and I think it's real important due to the nature of what has happened with a toddler. There's a lot of emotions, even officers. So we want to make sure we do it right.
You don't proceed.
Come on, ask.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to...
I know you're trying to get it in.
We got confirmed where he was found and how he was found.
And may I ask you what means?
Apparently had been mauled by...
Facebook or...
No. Talking with neighbors and
From the man
family.
who found it.
Yeah.
So that...
Well, let me just say that I regard that as an unofficial, at least from our perspective. Now, if there's family members or others that so desire to be more than anxious to give you information, I would just suggest to you that please regard that so that we can give you those facts.
Well, even early on in the investigation, we're, of course, all over this because it's a small child.
Yes, sir.
But usually early on, we can give a sort of tentative description of whether he appears to be accidental, appears to be homicide, appears to be natural. Can you
Those must be really good representatives, because I guess I'm not that good. I want to make sure, you know, I'm Irish, so I'm going to take a little while to make sure I got all the facts together. So I'm a little slow at doing things, but I guarantee you will get full details the best we can do it, and we will push it out, you know, because I think it's real important, because if it weren't for y'all, the media, the social media today, there'd be so many aspects, and what happens is when that social media gets out, we're answering more inquiries, not necessarily from yourselves, because you're professionals, but you know, we'll get inundated with phone calls and everything else, or people showing up. So that's why it's real important that we need your help, and we need you to, you know, bear with us. You know how things go, and this is how we will proceed. So.
Sheriff, let me ask you this. We had spoken with a few neighbors just driving by who say, in their opinion, this has been a problem area when it comes to aggressive dogs, aggressive animals, maybe not being properly restrained, getting loose and things like that. As far as your department goes, has this been identified as a problem area? Have you guys been out here before, recently, when it comes to animal violence?
Well, naturally, that will be a factor that we'll look into, and then we'll have to go to our, what we call a CAD, and see how many calls within the general area. I would tell you that there's dog issues across the county, and we know what the issues were in the city limits as well. Now, as to whether this is related or not, it remains to be seen until we get all the facts.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Come on, I know you're thinking.
No, I want to ask you something off the record.
Well, you know, I'm on the record all the time. I just be honest with you. You know, I mean, again, I know what y'all do, and I know how important you do it. And I know I've worked with you on a couple occasions, and I probably work with them every day. So hopefully, I have a little credibility that, you know, I will take y'all as a priority and not try to push you off. Now you can go ahead and ask me your question.
In a minute.
Okay.
I don't want to share it with the man.
Yeah. Again, you may, yeah, well, the TV, I know, and maybe AP.
Well,
Just, are y'all, any of y'all going to represent any of that national, push out to the national?
most likely all of us.
We're all members of AP.
Most
They
likely
can
all
pick
of
up
us.
anything.
So they'll, yeah, okay, but they won't necessarily, they'll come independently, because I think we're getting calls from the major networks up in New York right now, and so I didn't know.
I would expect AP to have a report at least calling.
I'm
but,
sure.
But they
Yeah.
can take any of our reports.
Yeah. And, you know, this is probably off the record when I say I'm never off the record, but y'all here first, you know, so I'm not going to go and make interviews, you know, sidebar interviews with anybody. You know, we will go to a designated location and enable you to, for me to give you further details.